Cleveland didn't wake up to a loss. They woke up to a moment that shook the entire franchise. A rookie quarterback had just played the greatest game of his young career, one of those performances that should have launched a new era in Browns football. Instead, the celebration turned into chaos, optimism twisted into frustration, and a win that should have united the city became the most divisive moment of the Stefanski era. Because this wasn't just a loss, it was an unraveling. A painful reminder that the future can be bright and still get sabotaged from the inside. And at the center of this storm stood Shedeur Sanders, a fifth-round rookie who played like a 10-year veteran, only to watch his masterpiece get ripped out of his hands by coaching decisions that left fans stunned, analysts furious, and even the locker room questioning what just happened. Sanders didn't simply put up numbers. He took over the field with a calm, ruthless efficiency Cleveland hasn't seen since the franchise returned in 1999. Every throw looked intentional. Every read felt advanced. Every drive had the energy of a quarterback dragging a stubborn organization into the modern NFL by sheer force of will. Meanwhile, the quarterback Cleveland drafted no. 1 overall Cam Ward looked rattled, hesitant, and completely out of sync. For the first time all season, Cleveland finally had an answer at quarterback. The guy fans had been praying for. But instead of embracing it, instead of leaning into the obvious momentum, Kevin Stefanski managed to make the entire night about something else entirely. Something darker. Something unavoidable. A coach's refusal, or maybe inability, to trust the one player keeping his job alive. Everything shifted on that first 2-point conversion attempt the moment the controversy cracked open. Cleveland was down by 8. Sanders had just orchestrated an 80-yard drive that electrified the stadium. The crowd roared back to life. The sidelines buzzed, and it felt like the Browns were seconds away from flipping the entire game on its head. Every analytical model, every broadcast voice, every fan in the stadium knew the plan. Kick the extra point, stay within striking distance, and let Sanders stay hot. But Stefanski ignored all of that. He stunned the stadium by going for 2 early. It was a decision analysts would tear apart for days, and the play itself looked doomed from the start. Wrong personnel. Slow motion out of the huddle. 0 rhythm. 0 confidence. Sanders tried to salvage the broken play, but the blocking crumbled instantly. The result was exactly what every fan feared. 0 points. Still an 8-point deficit. And now, a growing sense that the coaching staff was injecting chaos into a game the rookie quarterback was single-handedly holding together. But Sanders didn't fold. He didn't flinch. He came right back out with ice in his veins and marched the offense down the field again, reading the defense like a seasoned pro, moving with a poise that made even veterans shake their heads. And when he fired his 4th touchdown of the night, an absolutely perfect throw, it silenced every critic who wondered if he truly belonged in the league. Then came the moment that flipped the entire franchise upside down. The moment that has fans chanting for Stefanski's firing. Cleveland lined up for the game-tying 2-point attempt. The most important snap of the night. And everyone expected the same thing. Sanders with the ball, Sanders making the read, Sanders deciding the game. That's what every smart coach does when their rookie quarterback is cooking. That's what every team does when they accidentally find a star. But Stefanski didn't just change the play, he changed the player. He pulled Sanders off the field entirely, a wildcat. Not just any wildcat, one with Austin Judkins, a running back who hadn't taken a single pressure snap all night. Suddenly being asked to win the game on a play that hadn't worked once all season. The stadium collapsed into silence. Not anger, confusion. Even the broadcast team froze, waiting for anyone to explain why the hottest quarterback in football was watching from the sideline while a running back took the biggest snap of the season. And then the inevitable happened. Miscommunication, no blocking, total collapse. Judkins ran straight into a wall of Titans defenders before the play even developed. Momentum gone, confidence gone, Sanders' brilliance wasted, and Stefanski standing on the sideline with the expression of a man who suddenly realized he may have coached himself out of the future, but the disaster didn't end on the field. After the game, Stefanski delivered what may have been the worst press conference of his career. No explanation, no clarity, no accountability, just vague responses and a flat tone that made it feel like he didn't understand the scale of what he'd done. Reporters pressed him. Why was Sanders removed from the final play? He dodged the question. Meanwhile, Sanders stepped to the podium and showed more maturity than any rookie should ever need to show. He refused to blame anyone. He refused to criticize his coach. He said he trusts the process. But everyone watching could see it, the frustration behind his eyes, the disbelief, the hurt. And the comparison to Cam Ward only fueled the fire. Ward looked overwhelmed from the opening drive, off target, unsure, visibly shaken. Sanders, meanwhile, looked like a top 5 pick, and that contrast became the symbol of everything wrong in Cleveland. For years, the Browns begged for a quarterback like Sanders, poised, accurate, mentally sharp, able to elevate everyone around him. And now that they finally had him, their own coaching decisions were holding him back. Inside the building, whispers started immediately. Stefanski isn't just mismanaging games, he's mismanaging the future. And that's when things really started to unravel, because fans weren't whispering it anymore. They were saying it loudly, publicly, all over social media. Analysts were questioning why a coach known for offense looked terrified of letting his quarterback decide the outcome. And the narrative shifted fast. Either Stefanski doesn't trust Sanders, or worse, he doesn't want Sanders getting the credit. Every major moment suddenly felt like it was being steered away from the rookie. Every crucial snap seemed designed to minimize his impact. And when you compare that to how other teams treat their young quarterbacks, letting them grow through pressure, trusting them in decisive moments, it becomes almost impossible to defend what happened in Cleveland. The contrast between Sanders and Ward became a mirror for the entire franchise. One rookie thriving despite adversity, one struggling even with every advantage. It exposed the pattern Browns fans knew too well. The organization finally finds hope and immediately steps on it. To understand why the city exploded the way it did, you have to remember the history. 2 decades of quarterback disasters, first-round busts, trades that aged poorly, free agent signings that backfired, a rotating door at the most important position in sports. And then finally, out of nowhere, a 5th-round pick who looks ready-made for the NFL. Sanders processes defenses like a veteran. He keeps his mechanics clean. He spreads the ball around effortlessly. But his greatest strength? He lifts the confidence of everyone around him. Teammates play harder. The offense calms down. The energy shifts when he enters the huddle. Franchise quarterbacks don't come around often, and when they do, you protect them. You build around them. You trust them. You don't take the ball out of their hands with the season on the line, but Stefanski did. And it wasn't the only decision that hurt the team. That first 2-point attempt sent the wrong message. The blocked punt added pressure. The lack of defensive adjustments piled on. But the Wildcat call? That was the breaking point. It shattered fan trust. It fractured the locker room. And it forced the front office to confront an uncomfortable reality. They might have the quarterback they've been waiting decades for, but not the coach to guide him. Inside the organization, frustration hit a boiling point. Multiple players, according to insiders, weren't just disappointed, they were stunned, shocked that Sanders was taken off the field during the most important play of the night. And shock is worse than anger. Anger fades. Shock lingers. Shock spreads. It signals a deeper loss of confidence in leadership. Even the injury updates from Stefanski added fuel. He dodged questions. He danced around timelines. He refused to give clarity. And each vague answer made fans feel like the coach was losing control of the entire operation. And here's the part Browns fans can't forgive. The loss was preventable. Sanders played well enough to win. The defense did enough to keep them alive. The offense had rhythm and momentum. There was no football reason for the Browns to walk away with a loss except for decisions that suffocated the very opportunities Sanders created. But the most painful truth? Cleveland lost, while their rookie quarterback played the best game the city has seen in over a decade. And when you finally find your franchise quarterback, the last thing holding him back should be the man calling the plays. Browns fans know it, analysts know it, the locker room knows it, and ownership definitely knows it. Jimmy Haslam has never been shy about making drastic moves, especially when the future feels fragile. Now he's staring at a 5th-round rookie playing like a star, while his head coach makes choices that kill momentum, undermine confidence, and waste generational potential. Something has to change, because Sanders is trending upward at a rare pace. And Stefanski is trending downward just as quickly. Their paths can't coexist much longer. Sanders' performance wasn't just impressive, it was a